And we are back with the fourth segment of the GSMC Sports Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And in this fourth segment, we are going to be doing a quick little NBA recap of the games that took place yesterday. And we're going to start with the biggest surprise, at least to me. The Denver Nuggets, they ended up beating the Dallas Mavericks, and they ended up winning 118-99. This was an incredibly dominant win coming in from the Nuggets, and this was the game where the Dallas Mavericks actually had one of their best players, Kyrie Irving, but Kyrie played horribly in this game. Kyrie ended up shooting 4 for 18 from the field, which is very bad, and he ended up shooting 0 for 3 from 3, which is also bad. He ended with just 11 points. That is terrible shooting, and the biggest reason why they ended up losing this game. Now, Jokic ended up recording another triple-double, of course. He ended up getting only 10 points, but 14 rebounds and 10 assists along with that. Jamal Murray was really the biggest reason why this team ended up winning by as much as they did. He ended up shooting 18 for 26 from the field, 5 of 9 from 3, and recorded 45 points on the day. The second leading scorer was Michael Porter Jr. with 13. So overall, just a fantastic game coming in from Denver. And Jamal Murray, they needed every single bit of that point production. They needed all of that shooting and all of that scoring. He usually only does that against the Lakers, but all of those 45 points were absolutely necessary for that win. Now, the Brooklyn Nets, they ended up beating the Portland Trail Blazers, just, a bad team playing against another bad team. The Nets, they ended up winning 132-114 in this one. The Blazers, Scoot Henderson ended up dropping 39 points in this game with 6 assists and 2 steals. So just great performance coming in from him. Toumani Camara ended up dropping 23 points. Shaedon Sharpe ended up dropping 21 points. But on Brooklyn's side, you had 3 players dropping 20 points or more. Cameron Johnson dropped 24 points. Keon Johnson dropped 20 points. Noah Clowney ended the game with 20 points as well. Ben Simmons did nothing. Of course he did. 5 points, 9 rebounds, 11 assists. The 11 assists are cool, but again, only 5 points. Score the ball. But that's besides the point. Now, the Cavs, they continue winning because, of course, they do. Darius Garland ended the game with 24 points. Evan Mobley ended with 22 points and 13 rebounds. The Cavs won 127-117 against the Indiana Pacers. Donovan Mitchell ended up dropping 35 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. And on the Pacers side, Pascal Siakam had 23 points and 7 rebounds, but there was no Tyrese Halliburton in this one, so of course it was going to be very difficult for the Pacers to find consistent scoring. Benedict Mathurin ended up dropping 19 points. Miles Turner ended up dropping 17 points, and that was basically it for the Pacers in terms of scoring. Excuse me. But now the Thunder, they matched up against the 76ers the other day. Now, there was no Joel Embiid because when does he ever play a game? And there was no Maxey, and there was no Paul George. So, surprise, the 76ers ended up losing. They ended up losing to the Thunder 118-102. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander ended up dropping 32 points. Isaiah Hartenstein ended up dropping 9 points and 16 rebounds. And Jalen Williams ended up dropping 24 points, 6 assists, and 3 steals. And again, this was just an overall dominating performance from the Thunder. Not much that needs to really be said. Now, Phoenix, this one was another surprising game. So, Kevin Durant dropped 31 points, got 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, shot 13 for 20 from the field. Devin Booker had 35 points. He also recorded 5 assists, 3 steals, and 5 rebounds. And he shot 12 for 23, 7 for 14 from 3. and they lost. They dropped all of those points just for Trae Young to come back around and shoot and drop 43 points. He shot horribly. That should be noted. 13 for 31. That is absolutely disgusting. But again, 43 points is 43 points, and he went 6 for 12 from 3 and 11 for 14 from the free throw line. But again, 43 points and 5 assists. I mean, that is just a performance that speaks for itself. And he also had help from Onyeka Okongwu. Excuse me. I almost messed up that last name. He got help from Okongwu, and Okongwu dropped 22 points. He also had help from Garrison Matthews, who ended up dropping 19 points, 6 for 10 from the field. And Bogdan Bogdanovic did not really play well in this one. He ended up dropping 9 points, 3 for 13 from the field. But again, when you're going up against the Phoenix Suns, and also Bradley Beal only had 11 points in this one, but when Kevin Durant and Devin Booker are dropping 30 and you still beat them, that is insane. Like, that is ridiculous. Now, the Pelicans, they ended up beating the Chicago Bulls. They ended up winning 119 to 113, but still, the Pelicans, with a record of 9-32, are definitely one of the worst teams in the league right now. So it's looking like this roster that they constructed is starting out to be a complete failure. Now, Zion ended up dropping 21 points in this one, 9 assists and 7 rebounds. Trey Murphy III ended up dropping 32 points in this game. DeJounte Murray ended up dropping 15 points, 17 assists, and 17 rebounds. And CJ McCollum only had 8 points in this one. 8. Just 8. Zach LaVine had 25, 7, and 5. Nikola Vucevic ended up dropping 22 points and 15 rebounds. Josh Giddey had 7 points, 13 rebounds, and 12 assists. Lonzo Ball had 11 points. Excuse me. Jesus, I thought it was 7. 6 assists, 8 rebounds, 1 steal, and 1 block. So, Lonzo and his return, we love to see it. And this is just an overall embarrassing game for the Bulls. A game that they should not have lost, but of course they did. And I don't know if the Pelicans are going to break up this rotation going into next year, because it has not really been working at all. Like, even when they're healthy, the roster barely gets wins, even when they're healthy. But we'll see how it works at the end of the season. Again, anything can really happen. Now, the final game, the Bucks, they ended up playing against the Kings, and they ended up beating them 130 to 115. Giannis had 33, 11, and 13. Damian Lillard had 24 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds. Brook Lopez had 21 points and 5 rebounds. And off the bench, AJ Green for the Bucks ended up dropping 16 points and 4 rebounds. Now, on the Kings side, De'Aaron Fox ended up recording 20 points and 11 rebounds. Keegan Murray ended up dropping 11 points. Domantas Sabonis ended up dropping 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists. DeMar DeRozan had 28 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists, but still, this performance just wasn't enough to compete against the Bucks. And, I mean, when Giannis is dropping 33 points, now, I will say, not many people who played in this game ended up scoring, because for most of the game, it was just garbage time. Giannis going 14 for 23 from the field and dropping 33 points is a very, very difficult team to beat. And that's really all that I have in the games and the recaps. There's still enough time, so I might as well go ahead into some predictions. So the Knicks, they're going up against the 76ers. I'm going to pick the Knicks in this one. Mavericks play the Pelicans. I'm going to pick the Mavericks since they have Kyrie Irving. And Warriors going up against the Timberwolves. As much as I don't like either of these teams, I think both of them are rather fraudulent. I'm going to go with the Timberwolves. The Lakers, they're going up against the Miami Heat. I'm going to go with the Lakers in this one. I have faith in LeBron, even though he is 40. Clippers going up against the Brooklyn Nets. I'm going to go with the Clippers in this one. And let's see. The Celtics, they are going up against the Toronto Raptors. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the Celtics to win in this one. The Grizzlies, they're going up against the San Antonio Spurs. I'm going to go with the Grizzlies on this one. The Hawks, they're going to go up against the Chicago Bulls. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Hawks in this one. Magic go up against the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm going to go ahead and pick the the Magic in this one because Paolo Banchero is back. Houston, they're going up against Denver. I'm actually going to go ahead and pick Denver in this one because Denver plays at home. And then the Hornets, they're going up against the Jazz. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Hornets to win in that matchup. So those are my predictions, and that is my recap for the NBA games that took place yesterday. So now we're going to go into the fifth and the final segment where I talk about the NFL divisional round that's going to be coming up and some of the matchups to look forward to, as well as, just my opinions on who's going to win in these games and who's playing who. So I'll be right back after this short break. Be sure to stay tuned.